Now, a new documentary is exploring the complex relationship of shared humanity, culture, and connection between Israelis and Palestinians. It's called The Other and was filmed from 2017 up until this year, 2024, and even includes now scenes from post-October 7th and the ensuing war. But instead of focusing solely on the violence, The Other showcases another reality, an entire ecosystem of peace builders and activists in Israel and the West Bank working together towards a better future. Well, to talk more about this award-winning documentary, I'm joined by the filmmaker herself, Joy Sella. Joy, thank you so much for being with us on The Rundown today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want us to just talk about your vision in creating this first. I'm sure it has changed so much since you even began filming in 2017. So much has happened since then, but what sparked your decision to go out on this journey in the first place?
Yeah, so I'm Israeli, American, Jewish upbringing, and spending a lot of my time in childhood coming to Israel and really versed in living and being the Jewish and Israeli narrative and culture. And I was not aware of the other people living, our neighbors or as part of within Israel and the Palestinian territories. And I started to want to delve into that understanding myself. And so I just brought the camera with me, and from there it kind of evolved and mushroomed into this much larger exploration.
Wow. And so when you speak about that, from 2017, it's never been a calm time here in the Middle East or in Israel, but specifically in 2024. I understand your project actually wrapped up filming, but you decided to add a new chapter, I guess, so to speak, after October 7th and the war. And so tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we actually premiered in spring, and we were set to premiere at an Israeli Film Festival in New York right after October 7th. Of course, that got canceled, and we then premiered in spring and had a very successful festival run in spring. We won Best Documentary twice, once in Europe and once in the US in Boston. And we, throughout that tour, and I actually toured with Israeli-Palestinian peace activists as well as performers and musicians, and something we would hear time and time again is people are asking, well, what about now? And we wanted to make sure that the credibility of the message and this heroic work that all these people in the film are doing is still really understood and acknowledged, and we wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be dismissed after so much loss and trauma of October 7th and ongoing. So we thought we have a responsibility to revisit these characters and hear from them now. Of course, so much has changed, for the worst, and it's a much difficult situation now, but a lot of these people in the film feel that now is the time when it's difficult, that they must stand true to their message. And to my surprise, no one wanted to pull their footage post-October 7th. And we have a lot of people in this film.
Wow.
One of the peace activists, Ahmed Halou, who actually is featured in the trailer that we're playing right now, has since lost 60 family members in Gaza and still holds true to his message of peace and activism for everyone on this land. And a new voice we feature is actually Maoz Inon, whose parents were murdered on October 7th and has since really expanded and rooted down into his peace activism as well.
It's amazing that they can use this horrific tragedy to continue to be a voice for peace in the region. I think especially following October 7th, that's why so many people said that there is reason for peace now more than ever, because you see the damage that can be done without this peace. And so speaking to the people that you have spoken to in these voices, what is their vision for a new region in Israel or the peace process, and how do they make that happen?
I'm not sure if we're posing solutions in the film, and all I know is that something that we hear time and time again is whatever the solution may be, is that we have to humanize each other, and then we can move forward, because I'll quote Suleiman Khatib, one of the activists from the film, as the other alternative is a program of destruction and death. So we really have no choice, and we have to see what else we can do together. And I think when it's difficult is when we need it the most. And of course, you'll have the most criticism at that time. But what is the alternative? To not have hope and to not try to make a better future here?
And what's the reaction after playing at some of these major film festivals, winning these awards? What is the reaction from people who have gone out and taken the time to watch your documentary?
Yeah, surprisingly. So I had a lot of concerns, and I guess I made peace with the fact that I thought we'd face a lot of backlash in the West, and maybe that's still coming. I mean, as we progress on the journey getting the film out, that's definitely a possibility, but I was very surprised at how warm the audience reception was at our festival run. Prior to Jewish festivals, when we were in more mainstream audience, it made me feel that people are ready to humanize and have a message of hope, even while acknowledging devastation and a difficult reality. So that was that made me feel very optimistic. Something very surprising was that Jewish, American, and Israelis in the diaspora, as well as Palestinians in the diaspora, were seeing this film and having a very positive and engaging and healing experience with it. And I thought for certain that that would be where I would receive the most backlash. And I think that feedback meant the most to me.
And I think that is one of the most important things that we see lacking in today's dialogue or lack of dialogue. And that's why you see, especially in the West, in the United States, on many of these college campuses, let's say, it's the lack of conversation between even pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli people having a conversation. And the message of your film is stating that there should be room for both of these voices if there's ever going to be any hope for peace. And so how have you opened the conversation for something like this?
Yeah, so we're focused on programming. We want to take this to universities. We are touring with activists that are featured in the film so that they can share their message. Oftentimes in the West, we see people are speaking for the people here. And I think to see the people that have suffered the ultimate loss and are actually living this reality, wanting to find a better solution and work together is an important message that people in the West need. It's kind of a wake-up call. And I think it's important we hear directly from them. So that's what we aim to do.
Certainly. And Joy, you also have a small connection to I-24 News yourself. One of our cameramen, Gil Kramer, he actually helped work on this documentary with you.
Yes. He is a dear friend, and I'm so happy that we get to bring this up. So I actually met, how I got connected to Gil was actually I brought one of our main subjects from the film, Osama, a peace activist, a Palestinian from the West Bank. I brought him to Kibbutz Be'eri, actually, back in 2019 when they were doing, it's called The Lighthouse, and they were basically doing like this peace activity in honor of Gaza. And you could see Gaza from this space, and these were peace builders that actually lived in Kibbutz Be'eri. And I brought him there, and we filmed there, and I-24 was there. So I asked I-24 for someone that could do drone footage for the film, and they connected with Gil. But the fact that I-24 was part of this connection, that we were actually at Kibbutz Be'eri years ago, and we actually had activists from the West Bank there with us, meeting with Israelis and connecting, in that way, I think was a very interesting connection.
Certainly, and I'm so happy we could be a small part in making this vision come through. Quickly, Joy, if anyone wants to watch, how can they watch the documentary, The Other?
So right now we are working on distribution. We have a festival coming up in January in New York, and we have one more screening in Tel Aviv with Standing Together on December 18th. You can look it up on their website. We're going to be announcing there. And if you are interested in seeing updates about the film and where we can be seen, you can go to our website. I think I gave it to you guys, but if not, it's weuncoverfilms.com/theother.
Okay, fantastic. Joy Sella, thank you so much for joining us on The Rundown and talking about this. Sounds like a powerful documentary that I certainly want to watch myself, especially considering everything happening in the region right now. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now,